When it comes to computers, probably one of the most exciting things you can do is build a gaming PC. And right here I've got all of the components. I got a new case in, I've got my components in, and it's time to put it together. I'm super jacked, and we're going to go through and show you how to install each individual piece and what the process is to do each. So before we get started, let's go over each component, find out what we're putting in this gaming beast. First off, we're going to start out with the skeleton. This is the Phanteks Eclipse series case. It's a mid-tower case. Everything hides nice and neat in it. With that, we're going to install a 1150 MSI Max Power AC, 1150 socket. Of course, with that, we're going to put on a 4790K, which is your 1150 i7, runs at a base clock of 4 gigahertz. And then since we're doing a gaming build, nobody cares for the stock cooler, so we're going to install a Corsair, you can see it there, Corsair H105 all-in-one liquid cooler. And it is a gaming build, so we'll need some kind of graphics card here. So we're going to do an EVGA GTX 970. It's got 4 gigs of onboard video RAM. And then storage, we're doing an 840 EVO 500 gig solid state drive paired with a traditional terabyte hard drive, Black Caviar. And then of course to power it all, Corsair AX860 power supply. To start off, we're going to install the CPU here. We're going to install the RAM here before we put the motherboard in. It just makes things a little bit easier. So in this case, you may have, with your new board, you may have a cover that covers the CPU slot here. Go ahead and leave that cover on, because as you put the CPU in and clamp it down, it'll actually pop that cover off. So what you'll want to do first is go ahead and push down on this little lever here and then pull out, usually towards your RAM slots, as you can see, and that will release and flip up. Then you can go ahead and pull this tray up and we can insert the CPU. If you look real close on the CPU, it might be a little bit hard to see. Turn it this way here. You can see a little golden triangle right there. And what that does is that's going to match. If you flip this back down, you'll notice also a triangle right here on the edge. You'll want those to line up, and that's how you'll seat your CPU the correct way. Typically they'll only go in one way. Make sure that you don't touch the pins either here or touch the contacts on the bottom of the CPU right here. So we've got the arrow here pointing this way, arrow points this way, so we're going to seat it down. And if you'll notice, you'll see 2 little knobs right here as well that will also help determine what way the CPU goes. And so we're going to go ahead and close this. You'll want to make sure that the indent here will go underneath the screw here. And then we're going to firmly, as it gets tight, it's going to be firm. You'll want to press down and then click that into place, and that's how you install a CPU. Once again, if you have the cover on here, it'll usually pop up and you can go ahead and pull that off and take it from there. Normally, this is the part where you would go ahead and put thermal paste on it and install your cooler. We're going to go ahead and wait on that just because the all-in-one system can be a little bit bulky, a little bit tricky. So we're actually going to install that one as soon as we get it mounted in the computer. That way the board's being held in place and I can actually go through and tighten these down without affecting anything. So right now we're going to go on over to the RAM here. We center that, and you'll notice there's little notches in each one of these rows. This is a 4-pin or a 4-row setup, so you've got actually 2 channels. Which is better for performance. Most boards, actually, some boards nowadays actually have 8 slots, which actually runs on a quad channel system, but the 1150 socket does run in a dual channel system. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab the RAM from the bag here. RAM is sensitive, just like most components, to static electricity, so you want to make sure that you are grounded at all times. And what we're going to do, if you look real close, that right there, if you look real close, you'll also see a notch right here in the RAM. That notch will match the notch of the motherboard. So in this case, you want to make sure that all of these clips are pushed away, so they're in an open fashion. We'll go ahead and put one RAM stick in, press it down firmly, and we'll repeat that for the next 3. So as I said before, this is 32 gigs of RAM. It is 4 8-gig sticks running in dual channel. Like I said, press firmly. You'll hear a couple clicks or a single click. That means that your RAM has seated properly. If I can get that one in there. Come on in. There we go. Boom. Just like that. You'll notice all the clips on both sides are closed. indicating that the ram is firmly seated. What I would do is just go through and kind of push down on them one more time, very gently, just to make sure that they are in place. So the next step of the process is getting your motherboard mounted inside your case. I'm going to go ahead and show you a different tray. This tray has all the different anchors on it, so you can see them, they're gold. This is a full ATX board, so it's going to have a total of 9 screws to keep it in place. These very same screws are in here. They're just colored black, so it's very hard to see. They blend in with the background very well. So what you'll want to do is consult your manual, check how many screws you want, or you could even carefully place it in here and just kind of notate where your screws line up. And then if you have some that are anchors, or that are actual anchors, so these ones are built in, these anchors are built in on this case, but if you take a look at these ones actually screw in, so you can actually take these off. Most of these will come in your hardware bag, and then you just take them out and then screw them in as you need them. Here's a perfect example right there. So you can see on this board, this is how it comes from the factory, and then it comes with these in a little hardware bag. You just take these and install them. Usually they'll come with a little tool you can use to really tighten them down. Be careful not to strip them though, because they are aluminum, so aluminum and brass. So with that being said, once you've got your holes and everything marked correctly, you'll want to install what they call the I/O panel. It's your input-output panel. Looks something just like this. Of course, this will go on the back. What this does is it prevents a big gaping hole from being seen in the back, and it also just keeps, any kind of big particles out, helps keep dust out. So it's a very important thing to have, making sure, like if you're plugging like a USB in, that you don't end up missing it and short-circuiting something. So make sure that if you have this, install it. If you don't have it, you can get away without running it, but it's highly unrecommended to do that. So we're going to go ahead and click this in place. And of course you'll want to pay attention to the orientation of it. Just make sure that it's installed properly and in the correct way. That way when you put your motherboard in, it matches up. Let's go ahead and click that in place. Like I said, it's kind of spring-loaded. All of the edges are kind of a metal spring. So as you can see, we've got that installed. Looks something very similar to that. And it's time to put in the motherboard. So if you have some fans in there, make sure the cables aren't going to get in any kind of way. Everything looks clear. And then we're going to go ahead and bring in the motherboard. Very carefully, of course. And seat that in place here. Make sure everything lines up. Like I said, everything should click in place. Oop, I gotta back that out. I caught a cable on this side here. Come on out. There we go. Well, this one actually locks in place. Never had a case do that before. Again, make sure that your cables are out of the way. Try reseating it. That looks good. Perfect. So as you can see, the motherboard's in there. Now we're just going to go ahead and mount it down. All right, so we're back. Motherboard's mounted. As you can see, all 9 screws are set and seated properly. One thing I did want to mention is your hardware bag may come with a few different types of screws. What I would do is just gently, before you put the motherboard in, just gently check and see which ones actually are the right thread pitch. So with that being said, it is now time to install the CPU cooler. I'm going to have to take off the front fan here because the liquid cooler is going to be up front. So give me just a second here to take these off. So this step may differ just slightly because depending on which cooler you have, if you have the stock cooler that comes with it, it'll have different directions on how to install that. This one's already been installed. Typically when you have an aftermarket cooler, what you'll do is it'll have different components for certain types of sockets. What you'll want to do is just grab the correct socket type and then grab the hardware for it. And then on the back here, let me go ahead and show you that real quick. On the back, there's usually this large open place where you can go in and, it's hard to see right here. This is where you'll mount the mounting bracket and everything like that. If it's a stock cooler, chances are you're not going to have to do with anything back here. So let's go ahead and turn that back around. I'm just going to go ahead and set this fan aside here. Right there's fine. So when it comes to thermal paste, the purpose of thermal paste is, even though it looks like your CPU or the bottom of the cooler has a perfect surface, it does not. It has a bunch of ridges, trenches, you know, just things where when it was machined, it didn't get machined, as it does not have a smooth surface. So what the purpose of thermal paste is it goes in and fills those gaps and allows maximum contact for heat exchange. So what we're going to do, as you can see here, we're going to go ahead and put about a pea-sized drop of thermal paste. Maybe a little bit bigger right there. Some kits will come with a little spatula that you can use to spread it around. I've never had to do that. It's pretty straightforward. What you'll want to do is now grab your cooler. In this case, we have the Corsair actual, the block itself, which is the copper, what exchanges the heat. And again, make sure the cords are out of the way. What we're going to want to do is basically seat that in the correct area. And let me get the screws here. So again, each cooler will be slightly different. This one comes with these little metal thumb screws that we can go on. And I'm going to start doing opposite corners. So I'm going to start right here by pushing firmly down on this, give it a nice seat. What I would do is just do a hand tight for now, and then you can come back with a screwdriver and really not crank on it, but do slightly another turn. Come on, there we go. So I'm just doing as soon as I can get this, doing the opposite corner. It's a little bit hard to see right now, but you'll see the aftermath of it. So I've done this corner, then I'm going to do this corner, and then you could pick the other corners the way you want, just as long as it's nice and seated correctly. Alright, so as you can see, those are in place right there. And then as far as the radiator portion, that's actually going to go up front here. And I'll show you that as soon as I get that complete. Alright, so we are back. I've got the radiator and the fans mounted. So this is a push configuration, which means it pulls air from the outside and pushes it through the radiator. If you were to take the fans and put them on the opposite side of the radiator, you can see that right here, I've got them on top. If you were to put them on this end here, it would be pull, because it would be pulling air through. A lot of people will actually put two more fans here and actually have a push-pull configuration, which can actually decrease temperatures for your CPU. So we've got that mounted. Everything's nice and secure. We'll worry about the cable management a little bit later. Got the pipes all running nice here, and then of course these fans up here will get everything all plugged in. The next step is we're going to install the graphics card, since that is the heart of when it comes to a gaming computer. Typically in the past, a lot of games were pushed onto the CPU as far as processing, but that has since changed, and a lot of the processing has been pushed onto the GPU or the graphics card, which is this little unit here. Similar to the memory, for the RAM, you have notches. You can see the notch here and a notch here and a notch here on the board, and then you have a clip that will actually lock it in place. So what we're going to do first is we're going to want to prepare a space for this, or not this motherboard, but for this graphics card to go. And in doing so, what we'll need to do on this particular case, this may vary from case to case, is I'm going to have to loosen these up here, which will then give me the opportunity to slide this plate away from the expansion slots right here. And then I'm going to go through and unscrew two of these, because it is a double bay system. If you look real close again, move this case one more time. If you look right here, it does take up, it's a double bay setup. So we're going to go ahead and remove that. So let me do that real quick. Now they say most of these cases are toolless. What they mean by toolless is typically once you've broken them free the first time with a tool, moving forward they're pretty easy to do. Center this real quick. Come on out of there. Be careful not to let those fall just because they can hit your motherboard and damage something. So, okay. So as you can see, we've got 2 spots open for the expansion card. So what we're going to do is we're going to tip the case back on its side, move some screws out of the way, take the graphics card here, and once again, also with the contacts here, try not to touch those with your fingers because the oil, the natural oils from your hands can actually cause issues or corrosion on those contacts. So, all right, let's get that in place. And I did the wrong one. Okay, back to the drawing board here. This will be a trial and error. Sometimes you'll get the top slot, if not. Sorry. So we're going to shift this one to the top. Make sure it's seated nicely. Okay. So now we have it corrected. So let's get this card in here. And just go slow. There's no rush to do anything on this. And once you've got that in, push firmly in place. Again, you should hear a little click indicating that the little clip has secured the card. And then once again, we'll go back through. We'll take those thumb screws that you just took out and we'll replace those to help hold the card in place. Sometimes they can be a little tough just because the paint they put on the threads can be just slightly larger. All right, so we've got that in place. So with this case, I'm going to, again, close that plate, which will then lock everything in place here. Just like that, your graphics card is supplied. Again, we'll worry about the cable management here shortly, and we'll bring out the power cables, make sure everything's all good to go there. Next thing we're going to want to do is the hard drive. We'll be back with that. As always, your case might be slightly different here, but as you can see, we've got hard drive bays down here, and then I've got my solid state drive right here. And of course, I've got all my cables that'll go through with Velcro strips to lock everything down. So we're going to start off with the hard drive. Your step might vary differently. What we're going to do with this particular tray is we'll pull it out by squeezing these, and it'll pull right out. And then we'll pop the sides right here. What the sides do is they have little pins, as you can see, that actually will go in the sides of the hard drive here. And we're going to want to do, let's see, we're going to want to have the power cable and the data cable facing out because all of our wires, majority of our wires are actually going to be down here underneath. So we're going to seat the hard drive. You may have to expand it just a little bit for the tray. See, that looks good. Everything lines up there. Once you've got it all lined up, just click whatever you have in place, or shut it, however your drive, and then you'll see that that hard drive is now locked in place. And we'll go ahead and slide that in right here. And again, that'll click in place. Now it's for the solid state drive, wherever I put it. There it is. This one again will mount with the power and the data cable facing down. And these will just sit nicely in this little tray here. Again, in your hardware thing, you should have, your hardware bag, you should have screws for the solid state drive. Everything should be included. So we're going to go ahead and secure that. Maybe, let me get a smaller screwdriver. Solid states are pretty simple. Just make sure either the side holes or the ones on the bottom are lined up, and then secure as necessary. Oh, you know what? This makes it even easier. This pops off, that slid up, and then popped off. That way you can get to the sides. Sweet. So as you can see on the side here, you may have some that are on the bottom. And just like that, solid state's mounted. So we'll then slide it on these little grommets here and then push down, which will lock it in place on that. Again, we'll run the cables in just a moment. Next up, power supply. All right, so we've got our power supply here. You'll want to pay attention. In this case, the case has a filter on the bottom that will bring air up through, and then it will the power supply will push it out. So in this case, we want the power supply facing down. Yours might be slightly different, so make sure you pay attention to that. Also, this is a fully modular power supply, so no cables are attached unless we need them. So in this case, I want those facing this way. That way all of the cables can get tucked right in here. So we're going to go ahead and slide this down in. And as always, you'll have mounting screws for that. If you have somebody to help you, that would make, just depending on your case, might make things a little bit easier. If not, just use one hand, start threading it, and then grab the screwdriver and secure it the rest of the way. Let's get it there. The screws for the power supply screw from the back, and there's typically 4 of them that will hold it in place. And they will be different typically from your motherboard screws. They're a little bit more aggressive looking, have slightly larger heads on them. One more, there it is. Again, this is a gaming PC build, so if you have the budget and can do it, I would highly, highly, highly recommend a fully modular power supply, just because the fact that you can basically remove any cables that you're not using. Okay, all right, so that's in place, so you can see that there. We'll go ahead and turn this so you can see. So it mounted here, 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 and here. And of course you've got your switch, etc. So, since we've got everything in here, we've got our storage hard drives in solid state in place, we've got our power supply, we've got our cooler secured, and we've got our CPU in, of course. I think that about wraps it up. Now it's time to go through and run your cables. The best way to do it is most cases will come with some kind of power management system or cable management system. This one has grommets and then of course has Velcro straps to keep them in place. So I'm going to go through that, get that all taken care of, and then once I'm done, I'll bring it back and we'll show you what it looks like. This is a step that will definitely differ depending on your case. It'll have different cable management. You'll just want to take your time with zip ties. Most of the time, cases will come with small zip ties that you can use to make sure everything's secure. So we'll be right back. So the next step is to go through and plug in all of your power connectors to your graphics card, the motherboard, and anything else that will require power if you have any kind of extra PCI expansion slots. And so we're going to start with the 24 pin here. This is your main power connector for your motherboard. As you can see, it's 24 pins, or sorry, it's 12 pins long with 2 rows. And you can see that will go right here. And if you look real close, you can actually see squares and almost some ovals or some rounded edges that correspond to the clip itself that only allow you to plug it into the proper way. Also, there is a clip on the one side, and you can match that clip to the other side to make sure that it goes in the correct way. So we'll go ahead and plug that one in right now. You may need to hold the back of the case to apply some counter pressure. We're going to go ahead and plug in the graphics card at this point. Some of these will be marked with PCIe. Those ones will usually have like CPU that indicate that it goes to a CPU or the motherboard. So again, these will go in, press them in until you hear a click. And then we'll get this little guy in here. So now that we've got all the power cables, let's go through them. Like I said, this is a 24 pin, this is your main power, this is the power to the graphics card. This board is a little bit special. It's got a extra power cable to stabilize any kind of overclocking. And then if you look at the top, there's a couple more power cables up here that I couldn't get to plug in. But then you've got your fan connectors right here. This cord right here is the USB 3.0. That's to power your front panel USB 3.0s for like thumb drives or any kind of drive that will plug into that, any kind of USB. And then of course down here we've got some power switch. This will activate the power switch, and then you've got LEDs right there as well. And then of course you got your coolant lines right there. Now that we've got all the power cables plugged in, you're probably wondering where they go. And in this particular case, they run back behind the motherboard tray, which is this back panel here. and everything plugs into the power supply under here. So everything's nice and hidden, and that just allows maximum airflow and then just a nice look for any type of cable management. Alright, so without further ado, we've got all of the cable management taken care of here. You can see on the inside here, we've got our PCI Express for the graphics card, we've got our USB 3.0, 24 pin, cables, those are out of the way, and then we've got all the fans plugged in, and then of course all the other necessary power cables for the motherboard itself. We'll go ahead and turn around. This may not be completely camera worthy, but it's the best I can do with what the cables that I have for my power supply. As you can see, everything's pretty well tucked away and out of the way for the back cover to go on, which we'll apply right now. Go and grab that. So when it comes to putting the back panel on, just make sure that all of the teeth, if you will, are all lined up. And that went on rather smoothly, which tells me that there's plenty of clearance. Zoom this out just a hair. Oh, there it is. Okay. There's plenty of clearance on the inside for the cables, so there's not going to be much pressure on the cables, which is a good thing. And there you have it. That's on there. What we'll do is I got a few more things to do on the inside of here. We'll put the case on, put the front on, get it all plugged in, and we'll be back. So before we actually take a look at the computer, I've got everything on, it's all powered up, everything worked really well. But before we go and take a look at it, I want to just go over a couple of things here. First thing is just go really slow. Take your time, don't rush your build, make sure you don't damage any parts, and make sure everything's all seated properly. Next is spend some time on the cable management. Cable management can be a big thing or be a huge thing when it comes to actually making the case and everything look really good. So I'm glad that you were able to join me on today in making this video. Let's go ahead and take a look at it, and you can kind of see the aftermath and where it all pays off. Go ahead and pan this over to it here. I will go ahead and turn off the lights because it does have some lights that are built into the case that we'll want to take a look at without the lights on. So come on off there. There we go. Go ahead and shut this light off here. So as you can see, this one does have a fully tempered glass window with some RGB LEDs in it that came with it. So you can kind of see the aftermath of it now. Still pretty hard to see with the window over there, but you get the idea of it. So everything's all put together. All the cables are probably as best it's going to get. I could probably reach in there and push the liquid cooling hoses up towards more of the ceiling. But like I said, this is a Phanteks case Eclipse series. The reason they call it the Eclipse is because, like I said, it has a full RGB setup where you can actually go in and change the LED color to what you want. I'm personally going to probably go for a green and black and white theme, so I'll probably leave it on that. Of course, you got the LEDs up front here. As you'll notice, this is not a case that is designed to have a CD-ROM bay, so because most of everything is all digital downloads anyway, we won't bother putting one in. We've got this up here. These come off, and the whole case has sound deadening material to make things super quiet. And then of course it has these magnetic plates that go on top if you choose not to use the top. If you do choose to use the top fans, it also does come with magnetic filters, which are somewhere around here. Here they are. These right here, magnetic filters. You'll replace the top covers with these, and then you'll put fans underneath it. So there you have it. Once again, thanks for joining us on this. Hope you had a good time and learned something today. We'll see you next time.